ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते. So welcome to our Saturday morning session. Now we are in the final few verses of chapter 18 of Bhagavad Gita, and these verses are extremely important because this is the way Lord Krishna is concluding his sermon to Arjun. So we will have a look at them slowly. We covered up to 55 last time. Today we'll take 56. But before that, I'll just like to re-emphasize that from verse number 41 to 44, Lord Krishna talked about Swabhavik Karma, ki what kind of karma every individual should do. It is linked to the Varna Ashram system. Depending on the quality of an individual, he should decide what kind of karma he should do, and that will actually guide his path in the life. So, Swabhavik Karma, understanding what is my Swabhavik Karma, is extremely important. That is one. So, we were talking about Swabhavik Karma, which have been prescribed from verse number 41 to 44. And then Lord Krishna said that all karma, whatever karma you do, they have some defects. No karma is perfect. Even the karma of a Brahman who is fully knowledgeable in scriptures and who discharges his function in a very proper way, even those karma have some defects. So don't worry about those defects, but he says, you do your karma in a natural way and you will attain perfection. You will reach the Supreme Lord. So this is what he said in the previous verses up to 54. Now we will take verse number 56 today. 55, 56. Now verse number 56 says, मेरे परायण हुआ कर्मयोगी जो संपूर्ण कर्मों को सदा करता हुआ मेरी कृपा से सनातन अविनाशी परम पद को प्राप्त हो जाता है. शाश्वतम पदम में व्यम मद प्रसादा दवापनोति. जो आदमी, that person who does his स्वाभाविक कर्म without ego, without expectations, then he attains me. So this is a very simple path. He said that you do your Swabhavik karma, you will attain supreme knowledge and you will be one with the Supreme. This is very simple method. What he said in chapter 2 and chapter 3 and chapter 4, this was all said in these few verses here. And this is the simplest path we can follow. So one doesn't have to meditate too much on many things. Very simple path. Identify your qualities, identify your varna, identify based on that varna your natural functions, and discharge those functions efficiently with all your might without expectations. I think the task is done. Now, परम पद को प्राप्त हो जाता है. Now this word param pad has come in many places. Param pad means the ultimate destination. There is no destination beyond that. So this ultimate destination is called param pad, and that is what Lord Krishna has been referring in many places in Bhagavad Gita. That is the ultimate truth as well. That is the ultimate destination as well. This is the last resort one can reach. So this is what we should think about. Now verse number 57. सब कर्मों को मन में मुझ में अर्पण करके तथा समत्व बुद्धि योग को अवलंबन करके मेरे परायण और निरंतर मुझ में चित्त वाला हो। सब कर्मों को मन से मुझ में अर्पण करके। नाउ दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, वी हैव टू डू थिंग्स विद आवर विद आवर माइंड, विद आवर inner process, not outwardly. Like going to a temple and doing a puja, but your mind is somewhere else, then this is not a puja. Puja has to be done with your mind. You need not be in a temple. You can be anywhere, but in your mind, if you are thinking of the Supreme and if you are worshiping Him, then that is puja. So, man se arpan karke, this is extremely important. In many Upanishads, it has been said that mind is the cause of all, bandhan and moksha, that is, bandh moksha, all the attachments we have, all the temptations we have, and the entire liberation we can attain, this is all through the mind. So mind is extremely important this in this entire process. So सब कर्मों को मन से मुझ में अर्पण करके, मन से करना, that is what we need to do. We have to think of the Supreme in our mind. Just going to a temple and leaving our mind roam around all over the world is not the right approach. So this is extremely important. Samatva Buddhi Yoga. Now, once you do that, you automatically reach Samatva Buddhi. Samatva Buddhi means that you are not impacted by praise and criticism. And the wealth and, no wealth is not going to impact you. You are not impacted by the events that are happening outside. You are absolutely stable inside, and therefore the outside impact will have no, and outside events will have no impact on you. So this is what he has said. Now these things were also said in chapter 2, and I'll go back to those two verses where he said that. Now verse number 47 and 48, very clearly he said, 47 is very famous verse, कर्मण्यवादी कारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन मा कर्म फल हेतुर्भू माते संगोत्व सत्व कर्मणि. That the person, individual, has the right to do his karma, but he cannot decide on the outcome of the karma. At the same time, he must perform his work. He should not have the exact verse, exact meaning is, इसलिए तू कर्मों के फल का हेतु मत हो तथा कर्म न करने में तेरी आसक्ति न हो. When you must do the work, you should not become lazy, and you should not have any expectation of the outcome. So this is what he said in verse number 47 in chapter 2. And then in chapter 8, he talked about the same, Samatva Yoga, when he said, हे धनंजय, तू आसक्ति को त्याग कर तथा सिद्धि और असिद्धि में समान बुद्धि वाला होकर योग में स्थित हुआ कर्तव्य कर्म को कर, समत्व ही योग कहलाता है. Now this is exactly what he said that time. समत्वम योग उच्यते, सिद्धियो असिद्धियो समो भूत्वा समत्वम योग उच्यते. So this is what he is emphasizing here again, that we should do our work and we should surrender those outcome to the Supreme. We should leave that decision to him, and he will do whatever is required. You become absolutely dedicated to him. And once we think that this whole universe, today I was thinking in the morning that in this universe, now this is heat in Rajasthan. We are having about 47 degrees. The temperature when it reaches over 40 and when it goes below -10, the human being start feeling that how can he survive? Even that small little movement of the sun can entirely endanger our existence. Imagine if the temperature is -20 all the time. You cannot grow anything. No life is possible. If the temperature is over 50 all the time, no life is possible either. So these are very, what you call global decisions, which are universal things. These things are decided somewhere else. We are a small little, cohort somewhere, and we start believing that we are running this world. So even this one movement of the sun can actually disturb our life completely. There are so many invariables in this universe. There's invariable of water cycle. There's a wind cycle. There are natural forces which are operating. There are even the breathing system which we have, oxygen and carbon dioxide. Even that is disturbed for a few seconds, we are dead. So there are many, many systems in this universe which are operating, and we start feeling that we are the, doer of everything. This feeling should go away from our constitution completely. We are only a small little particle of, like a particle of earth. We are a small little particle of sand in this whole universe. And our existence is completely dependent by the universal forces, which are governed by the Supreme. And that feeling, if we continue to develop in ourselves, I think slowly, slowly, we will surrender to Him. This feeling will come slowly, slowly, the feeling of surrender, if we start thinking in those directions. So these four, verse number 46 and 47 of chapter 2 are similar to these verses here. Now verse number 48. उपर्युक्त प्रकार से मुझ में चित्त वाला होकर तू मेरी कृपा से समस्त संकटों का अनायास ही पार कर जाएगा, और यदि अहंकार से मेरे वचनों को नहीं सुनेगा तो नष्ट हो जाएगा, अर्थात परमार्थ से भ्रष्ट हो जाएगा. Now this is a sort of final warning to Arjun that if you don't listen to me, then you will destroy yourselves. If you listen to me, then you will attain what you call yoga, that is unity with the Supreme. You will become one with Him and you will attain the final liberation in the life. So, this is what basically a verse which is just emphasizing and telling Arjuna that you should follow what I have said in the previous verses. Again, he's saying the same thing again in verse number 59. जो तू अहंकार का आश्रय लेकर ये मान रहा है कि मैं युद्ध नहीं करूंगा, तो तेरा ये निश्चय मिथ्या है, क्योंकि तेरा स्वभाव तेरे को जबरदस्ती युद्ध में लगा देगा. Now this we can feel ourselves. You see, we have a inbuilt nature, each one of us. And you will realize that despite many efforts, that nature automatically guides us in a particular direction. Why that happens? Because that software has been made in our body-mind complex, and that software keeps guiding us. That software is the one which Lord Krishna is referring to, that as a Kshatriya, you are going to fight the war whether you desire or not. This is what he's saying. Even if you tell, because of attachment to your near and dear, that I'm not going to fight, ultimately you will end up fighting, because that is your inbuilt nature. You cannot, desist from that nature. So this is what Lord Krishna is mentioning here, and he's telling him that come and join and fight the war. Don't run away. Running away is not an answer. Now, verse number 60. हे कुंती पुत्र, जिस कर्म को तू मोह के कारण नहीं करना चाहता, मोह के कारण, उसको भी तू अपने पूर्वकृत स्वाभाविक कर्म से बंधा हुआ परवश होकर करेगा. स्वभाव जैन कौन्तेय निबंध स्वयं कर्मणा. That जो कर्म, whatever कर्म is inbuilt in your system because of the software which was put into your system at the time of your birth, Now, Purvakrat Swabhavik Karma. Purvakrat means the seed which brought a particular software in your body system that will actually compel you कर्म से बंधा हुआ परवश होकर means you will be compelled to do that without your even knowing it. So that will force you, your swabhavik karma, which is inbuilt in your system, will force you to that fight. And therefore, don't run away because of more. More means attachment to your near and dear, that I'm going to kill my Pitamaha Bhisma, or I'm going to attack throne, or I'm going to kill my cousins. That attachment you should leave aside. So this is what Lord Krishna in these three verses is telling to Arjun, that don't run away from because of attachment. You will be forced to come into the battle whether you like it or not, and therefore do it willingly and do it with full force. Now, this verse number 61, this is very important verse, and I'll spend little time on this verse. हे अर्जुन, शरीर रूप यंत्र में आरूढ़ हुए संपूर्ण प्राणियों को अंतर्यामी परमेश्वर अपनी माया से उनके कर्मों के अनुसार भ्रमण कराता हुआ सब प्राणियों के हृदय में स्थित है. नाउ दिस इज a verse. If we remember this verse, I think we can make substantial improvement in our own system. शरीर रूपी यंत्र में आरूढ़ ईश्वर सर्वभूताना हृदय अर्जुन तिष्ठति भ्रामयन् सर्वभूतानि यंत्रारूढ़ानि मायया. That is the Sanskrit verse. Sharir Rupi Yantra, this is the body mind complex. This is an instrument. In this instrument, based on your previous karmas, unke karmon ke anusar, based on your previous karmas and current karmas, a particular system has been set into motion. And that system is run by the Supreme automatically. And then you conduct according to that system. So here he says that you have no freedom in certain ways. You have no freedom. Your karmas in the past birth and in the current birth have created a software inside your body-mind instrument. That software is guided by the Supreme, by me, and you have to behave according to that software. Now, this is the truth. This is the truth, but this truth is misunderstood many times and misinterpreted by many people. Therefore, I would like to spend a few minutes on this. Now, many people understand this truth, that now you don't have to do anything because the Lord will guide you and He will, guide your life. You stay quiet. You need not take any action. So then people become absolutely lazy. They become akarmanya. Now, akarmanyata is not niskriyata. We discussed this. They become akarmanya. They become lazy. Now, that is not the answer. And this verse can lead to that. And many people take shelter into this verse not to do things. Now, that is not correct. You have to. This has been emphasized like chapter 2, verse number 47, that you must do your work. You cannot be attached to not doing the activity. The life means action. Life begins with action, ends with action. There is no life without action. Even if you are not doing anything in life, even that is considered action. So we must do things. That is first thing. Secondly, a software is built into our body-mind complex based on our previous action and current actions. and that software keep guiding us. Now, here he says, संपूर्ण प्राणियों को अंतर्यामी परमेश्वर अपनी माया से. Now, what is that अंतर्यामी परमेश्वर? अंतर्यामी परमेश्वर is that inbuilt software which guides us. उनके कर्मों के अनुसार भ्रमण कराता हुआ उनको, he takes them according to the outcome of their work, outcome of their actions. So don't understand that there is a, God telling you everything. No, God is absolutely not doing anything. The software is built in your body mind complex based on your previous and current actions. That we must remember, and therefore we should not leave everything to the Supreme, that whatever He wishes, it will happen. No, we have to perform our karma according to our one system, according to our abilities, according to our capabilities. We must perform our karma. So these two things come here very clearly, that karma is the basis of the software. Therefore, we must perform our karma. And the software is automatically built into this complex which keeps guiding us. And that software is actually misunderstood by people. They say that और जो भगवान कराएगा वो ही होगा. अरे भगवान वो ही कराएगा जो आप कर रहे हैं. It is you are deciding your destiny. God is not deciding your destiny. Now, in this respect, one more misconception which comes very often is that if the God is doing everything, then all this evil which is happening in this world is also because of the God. He is doing the evil. And this question has origin in all the religions. Evil in the world, this has been a big subject of investigation, why people perform evil. In Christianity, they came out with a concept that good is God. All the good things are done by the God. But there is a Satan in addition who brings the evil into the world. So they brought a concept of Satan. Now you can easily say if there is a Satan who is more powerful than God, then why should I bother about the God? And then there is no unity of command at all. The God and the Satan will keep fighting against each other. It is not that. This question has been answered very profoundly by Lord Krishna in chapter 3rd. And that was in response to a question by Arjun. And I'll go back to that chapter 3rd. It is verse number 36, in which Arjuna is asking, हे कृष्ण, तो फिर ये मनुष्य स्वयं न चाहता हुआ भी पलात लगाए हुए की भांति किससे प्रेरित होकर पाप का आचरण करता है? Which is the force which is compelling him to do evil, wrong things, pap? What is that? If everything is guided by the Supreme, if everything is guided by by Paramatma, by God, then why evil in the world? While people do crimes, why do they theft? Why do they kill others? Why do they tell lies? Why this is happening? What is the source of all this? Now that question, nowhere in the world it has been answered as profoundly as it has been done in Bhagavad Gita. And that is verse number 37, chapter 3, and 38 of chapter 3. So I'll go back to that now. श्री कृष्ण भगवान बोले, हे अर्जुन, रजोगुण से उत्पन्न हुआ ये काम ही क्रोध है. ये बहुत खाने वाले अर्थात भोगों से कभी भी अघाने वाला और बड़ा पापी है. इसको इस विषय में तू इसी को वैरी जान. काम, desires are the source of the evil. That is what he's saying. And desires arise from rajogun. Rajogun se utpann hua. The desires arise from rajogun. And the sattvagun, rajogun, and tamogun, they are part of prakriti, of nature. They are inbuilt into Mahat Tattva in nature. And therefore, this is not done by the Supreme, it is done by the nature which is embedded with these three qualities, including Rajogun. Rajogun gives rise to desires. And these desires are, he's saying that aghane wala, it cannot be satisfied ever. These are insatiable. They grow in geometric progression. The desires cannot be ever fully satisfied. This is not possible. That is what he's saying. And then he says that you must think that this is the root cause of all the evil in the world. So it is arising from Rajogun. It is the human desires which keep multiplying in variety of forms, and they are insatiable, and therefore people do all kinds of evil. People do evil to accumulate wealth, to grab power, to create problem for others. So there are a variety of reasons why people do evil. They want to, they hate somebody and therefore they want to punish somebody else. So they take shelter of evil, they kill somebody or they hurt somebody. Similarly, you want to acquire wealth because that's the desire to acquire wealth is unlimited. People who are Karodpati, they want to become Arabpati, Arabpati wants to become Kharapati, Kharapati wants to become Nilpati, Nilpati wants to become, beyond that and beyond that. So that desire, similarly, the desire for power, desire for prestige in the society is the root cause of evil in the world. This is what Lord Krishna has mentioned in verse number 37. Then he says, he again explains that, like he explained in chapter 18, he is explaining again here. जिस प्रकार धुएं से अग्नि और मैल से दर्पण ढका होता है और जिस प्रकार जेर से गर्भ ढका होता है, उसी प्रकार काम के द्वारा ये ज्ञान ढका होता है. Why these desires happen? Because of the knowledge of the person is covered with calm, covered with desires. And that is why he keeps doing evil. He keeps performing evil. Now, if we can acquire the true knowledge, then that, the cover of calm will disappear. And then he will not commit the paap. He will not do the wrong things. He will not perform evil. So evil is happening. And then he is giving the example. जैसे अग्नि धुएं से ढकी होती है, दर्पण के ऊपर मैल इकट्ठा हो जाता है. जब बच्चा गर्भ में होता है तो वो जेर से ढका होता है. उसी तरह से, in the same way, the knowledge is covered with desires, and those desires are the root cause of evil. So this has been explained here, and therefore there is no reason to misunderstand verse number 61, which has been misunderstood by many people, explaining that it is the God who is responsible for everything. No, God is not responsible for anything actually. He has given all freedom to us to perform whatever way we want to perform. And our actions are the one which lead to the reaction. Action, reaction. That is also mentioned in that Kanath's theory of, actually that was an article published in a US journal in which it was mentioned that the law of Newton was actually taken from the theory of Kanath, Vaiseshik, philosophy of India, in which those three verses in Sanskrit have been quoted. So exactly on these three verses are also mentioned that you reap the harvest of your own actions. There also he mentions that very clearly. We all reap the harvest of our own actions. God is not there to punish us. God is not there to penalize us. The penalization, the punishment we invite because of our own karma. And those karma we perform because of our desires. those desires cover our knowledge. Our knowledge is covered by those desires, and therefore we lose that knowledge and we perform evil. And as a result, we have to, you know, take the outcome of those evils that will also be evil. So this is what Lord Krishna is mentioning here in uh, these few verses. He has clarified, and I want to repeat it again, that let us identify our swadharma, our niyat karma, which we are designed to perform, for which we have been sent into this world. And those niyat karma, those swadharma, we can identify based on our capabilities, based on our knowledge, based on our body mind complex and its prowess. Once we have done that, let us perform those actions properly with all our might, without expectations, without ego. Once we do that, then knowledge will automatically will keep purifying our system, and we will become ultimately one with the Supreme. We will surrender to Him and we will become one with the Supreme. Now, in this verse number 61, yes, he has explained that. This verse also appears in Svetasvatar Upanishad, and I will go to that also. Now, each word of this verse, I would like to emphasize again. Sarir Rupi Yantra. So, this body mind complex is an instrument. Very clear. यंत्र में आरूढ़ हुए संपूर्ण प्राणियों को, आरूढ़ मीन्स द गवर्निंग फोर्स, द फोर्स विच इज गवर्निंग दिस बॉडी माइंड दैट फोर्स, संपूर्ण प्राणियों को अंतर्यामी परमेश्वर अपनी माया से उनके कर्मों के अनुसार. Now that instrument which is formed to guide our body mind complex, or the software which is formed to guide our body mind complex, is based on the actions, karmo ke anusar. It is not based on the will of the Supreme, no, it is based on the action of the individual. And then that instrument keeps guiding our life. That software is formed on the basis of our action, and that keeps guiding our life. And that is located in our heart constantly. It's like, when I go on this laptop and access various websites, they are automatically recorded somewhere, what website I visited, what I saw, everything is fully documented. Similarly, every action we do is fully documented in our heart. And that heart forms a software, and that software keeps guiding us. So this is a very scientific explanation how we are governed, how our system is governed. So this is very important. Now let me go to Svetasvatar Upanishad, and this is here. Actually, this is the part 4, verse number 10 of Svetasvatar Upanishad. Mayam tu prakrti vidyan manni tu maheswaram tasya vaya vaya bhutestu vyaptam sarvam idam jagat. It means one should know Maya to be the force of nature and Brahma to be the master of Maya. Hence, the entire universe is pervaded by the Supreme through his Maya. He guides the entire universe through his Maya. But the Maya is based on the guiding factor is the Supreme, but it is created because of our action, because of our activities in the world. We create that Maya. We, like in chapter 15 of Bhagavad Gita, we saw how we view Maya. Like I tell you an example. Again, it's worth telling an example. Let's take a cricketer, for example. Now, a person wants to learn cricketing, he gets interested, he watches cricket, he becomes interested. and he wants to learn bowling or batting or whatever. He goes to a training school. Now that's a Maya is weaving. Once he watches cricket, he gets an inspiration to learn. Now he goes to a training school where a teacher is teaching him how to bowl, how to bat. Now he does that training. That's part of the woven thing he has done, the Maya. Then he learns that game. He becomes a good bowler, for example. Now he goes to the field. He is selected. Now, in the selection process, there are a lot of ifs and buts. So he puts pressure here, puts pressure there, and he wants to make sure that he's selected. That is also part of Maya. He is woven. He's not accepting things as they come, but he is putting his contacts in place so that he's selected. Once he is the team in the team, he wants to perform. He wants to get more and more wickets. He wants to set more and more records. Then he wants to perform at international level. He wants to be known as one of the great players. So all that is woven by the Maya. Then he wants to earn more and more money. He wants to get more and more advertisements. He knows that his self life is only say 10, 15 years in cricket, and therefore he should collect a lot of wealth, and he gets advertisements, he gets engaged into that process, and he keeps weaving on it and again. Now once he gets the wealth, he wants to keep it safe, he wants to invest it somewhere else, he wants to look for the mutual funds and equities and banks where he can invest. He looks for some business opportunities where he can invest. So all that process, now we are weaving Maya out of one single desire to become a cricketer. A desire is there to become a cricketer. There's nothing wrong about the desire, but I'm explaining the process, how Maya weaves itself further and further and further and further. It keeps going ahead, 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 finding new ways, new directions all the time. It's never-ending process. I have met some people who have attained great fame in life. They are very wealthy. They can have anything they want in life. Still, they are desiring more and more. I have to do this. I have to do that. They want me to join. Why don't you join me? I'll do this. I'll do that. Now that is the process of Maya. The Maya keeps attracting you all the time, and that is what we weave because of our own actions, because of our ignorance. That knowledge is now covered with the desires. And because of those desires, we are weaving a wave of Maya in front of us without realizing that this wave is interminable. It's keep going on and on and on and on in a geometric progression. So this is what we do. So this is what we must understand today, that if we simply engage in the actions for which we are designed, for which we are capable of, and without much expectation, without ego, then life becomes simple, life becomes easy. We don't weave anything beyond that. And then we become one with the Supreme, we become transparent. There is what we call bahar ki bhitar ki suddhi, that is the purity of inner self and the outer self. And then you become transparent. You see your image correctly in the mirror. There's no dust on the mirror. Otherwise, the dust of desires is there on the mirror, and you see your image in a very distorted way. So that is over. So what we should do, simply follow these few verses 41 down to 61. I think that solves our problem. And God is not the one who you are puppet to the God. No, that is not so. You are puppet to your own actions. He has not taken any responsibility for your good karma or bad karma. He repays you as per your karma. There's nothing he adds on his own there. It is all your karma which brings the good or bad, or good fortune or bad fortune in your life. So this is what we should understand. And to read the chapter second, verse number 47, 48, and chapter 3, verse number 36, 37, and 38. Along with this, I think that clarifies everything in our life. Thank you very much. we will have one more session of Bhagavad Gita, and then we will have maybe one concluding session uh, to have the overall overview of Bhagavad Gita, and then we will decide what else to do. Thank you very much, and I look forward to see you all in the next session. Thank you.